This video is in collaboration with Phil-Am Nation Select, based in California, USA. Get a chance to win a Phil-Am Nation Select t-shirt. I'll be posting mechanics at the end of this video. Hello online world, this is Off the Record with Migs Bustos, and for today's episode, we have another Filipina talent that is going to make waves in the US NCAA. She is ELLA Fajardo. ELLA represented Gilas Pilipinas Women's twice sa Under-18 3x3 tournament, and actually one of those times that they represented the country is umabot po sila sa quarterfinals. And ELLA is going to play for the Fairleigh Dickinson University sa New Jersey sa United States, and ELLA was kind enough to join us here on Off the Record, and here is that interview. So now we have ELLA Fajardo on Off the Record. Hello ELLA, and congratulations on committing to a D1 school. How are you?
Thank you so much. I am well, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for reaching out.
All right. So ELLA, before we get to the bottom of the things, but then I just want to ask you first and get to know you better. So who is ELLA Fajardo? What is your background? How did it all start with basketball, and how did you get here?
Right. I am ELLA Fajardo. I am 100% Filipino. Both my parents are from the Philippines, and they immigrated here, so I'm a first-generation immigrant. And as far as basketball goes, I think I've started in the 3rd grade, and really my parents never forced me to. My dad did play basketball in the Philippines. He was enrolled in Milo Best and graduated from there. But he didn't necessarily have the same support system as I do now in terms of family, really letting me play the sport that I love. So they didn't really push me too hard. It was kind of just me and my own competitive nature. And just from 3rd grade, 3rd grade and going up from there, it's kind of just been a good roller coaster of me learning how to love the game so much, and also in the gist of all of that, finding my Filipino heritage and learning how to love it and getting that experience in the Philippines as well.
You mentioned about competitive nature. Where does it all come from?
Honestly, I think it's because my dad has it. Like he didn't play super competitive basketball in the Philippines, but he did play for a while, and he just always taught me to have that tough mindset, no matter how small I am on the court, no matter how new I was, or even if I was just new to the sport, he always told me to be headstrong and just to be smart and outplay your defenders, and also play really good defense and get that energy from defense and turn it into offense. So I think I primarily get it from my dad.
So what's basketball like in the family? Do you have siblings, ELLA, and does it all start at home?
Mm-hmm. I do have siblings. I have 2 younger siblings, Ava, who's 12, and Andrea, who's 8. And they do play basketball as well. Whenever I'm in the gym or the court, they're also there. So I started 3rd grade, and the middle child, my sibling, she actually started in kindergarten, which is about 2-3 years below me, just because she's always in the gym with me. It's kind of as if if she has nothing to do, she just picks up the basketball. And same with my youngest sister.
All right, so now let's talk about the 3x3 experience. You represented the Philippines twice, but can you tell us the story on how you met Coach Pat? How did it all start? Because you're based there in Jersey, but how did it all connect and for you to represent the Philippines?
I actually used to go to the Philippines every single year when I was younger, because it would be more flexible, like school-wise. Like I was able to miss sometimes a month of school and go back to the Philippines, because my dad's whole family is actually based in the Philippines and my mom's family is here. But they made it a priority for me to go back to the Philippines so that I could explore my heritage and spend time with my dad's family. And while I was in the Philippines, every summer I would enroll into the Milo Best Center. And at that time, it was only guys or boys, and I'd be the only girl. So I kind of stood out in that perspective, and I brought with me that competitive nature. And one of the assistant coaches, one of the main coaches when I was in, I think, just level 1, saw me, and her name is Coach Julie Amos, and she's actually an assistant coach for the national women's team right now, Gilas. So she kind of just kept in contact with me, and so as the other coaches in the Milo Best Center, because you really do develop a relationship there. So they kind of just kept in contact with me. And then one summer, last summer, when I was 16 years old, they asked me if I was coming home anytime soon, because there would be a 3-on-3 tournament, the first one that the Philippines was invited to. So they kind of asked me, are you coming anytime soon? Like, we just want Coach Pat to see you, even if it's just once. And during, I think, spring break, I went back for my birthday, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to see Coach Pat and if he was going to see me. But it turned out that we did have a tryout, a quote unquote tryout for it. And he saw me, and thank God he liked what he saw and let me play 3x3 with other girls.
So Ella, it's like a dream come true. You mentioned that you've always been in touch with your Filipino roots and your heritage. Then suddenly you got that call, right, for that tryout, and then eventually playing for the Philippines. So what was that experience like?
Oh, it was incredible, to say the least. I mean, I knew that it was a huge responsibility. So once Coach Pat told me that it was a go, I came back here and I did one-on-one personal training with my personal trainer, Coach Richard Starling. And then I just focused on building my body so that I would be ready to represent the country. I knew it was serious.
And you guys, that team rather, went to the quarterfinals on your, I believe, second time around, and
Right.
in the 3x3 championship. So yeah, more on the experience with Camille Clarin, Angel Sorada. What was that like for you, and how do you think that you know developed your game to an international level? Did you expect that, at least when you were younger?
Most definitely not. It's always been a dream of me to play for the national women's team, even when they were called Perlas. Like, I think in 6th grade, I just visited them and I watched them just because Coach Julie, the same coach as my best center mentor before, she said, why don't you come and just like look at us? It's, whatever. I was in 6th grade. I'm only 12 years old, but I didn't expect that only a few years later I'd be playing U18 as a 16-year-old. But the funny thing about it that I didn't expect as well was the fact that you said that we went to the quarterfinals, but we only had 2 weeks of preparation. Me, Camille, Angel, and Anne. And that is because me and Camille were actually from the States at the time. So, we're not together in the same country, and we only had 2 weeks to prepare, yet we made it so far, especially, the first time around, them inviting us.
All right, so now let's get to the main event. FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson University. So for the context for Filipino ballers or Filipino fans, this may not be a common household name when it comes to the US NCAA. But can you give us some context on why you chose this? What is this university? And what will you benefit out of this?
Okay, Fairleigh Dickinson University is a private institution located in New Jersey. It is D1, so part of the NCAA, but they haven't made it there yet, and hopefully I will be able to change that in my 4 years there. But the reason why I chose this place is because of all the colleges that I've spoken to during the recruitment process. I knew that FDU, they really wanted me as much as I wanted them. Like, they watched all my games, and even the main coach before offering me, she spoke to like everyone she knew who knew me. So, that really puts everything into perspective. And, I just developed such a great relationship with the coaches, even outside of basketball. Like, they'd ask me about my life, my family, and they knew what I did in the Philippines. And they too also have 2 girls who play on the Spain national team. So they know what kind of responsibility I have for the Philippines. And I know that will cater me whenever I need to go back to the Philippines and represent. Like, they'll support me 100%. And like I said, the distance wasn't really planned, but it's such an advantage, and I'm very lucky for that.
Okay, talk about the distance. You're currently in New Jersey, and that is in New Jersey. But can you talk about maybe the advantage of that, being with family and at the same time being close to the university?
Right. I think that's a huge advantage, and not a lot of people could say that they only live 10, 15 minutes from their university. I am so close with my family. We're such a tight-knit family, and I know that probably every home game they're going to do as much as they can to make it there. And yeah, I mean, a lot, like you said, a lot of kids here in the US like going far away from their families for a change of scenery, but honestly, I couldn't ask for anything better to be close to my family.
But that's the Filipino culture, right? You mentioned tight knit.
Right,
It plays a big factor in our lives. We have to be close to our family,
right,
right?
exactly.
Right. Uh-huh. Now, Ella, was the COVID situation a factor in, choosing a
Mhm.
university within the recruitment process?
Well, COVID definitely was a huge factor. When I was in the Philippines, I spent a lot of time with National University NU, where I met the players who are now my ates, and I still keep in contact with them. And even Coach Pat, who they all told me that they wanted to see me, not to see me, but to have me at the school. And even other schools in the Philippines, the universities were asking me to at least visit the campus. And I really would have. I was planning to do that this summer, but because of COVID, with everything, up in the air and unsure, that kind of played a part in my recruitment process. But it's also a good thing that I'm close to home, because if anything happens, God forbid, I know where my family is and I know my town.
You mentioned, Ella, about earlier. You previously mentioned that FDU Fairleigh Dickinson really wanted you as much as you wanted them. What is it like from your perspective when you get recruited? I'm sure there were some in mind. At the start of the process, you want to go here, you want to go here, but then offers come here. What's the difference between you wanting it and the one who's wanting you? I mean, I know that's a complex feeling that you guys can only answer. What's that like from your perspective?
I mean, it was like once I felt like they wanted me, I could totally picture myself with them for the next 4 years. And I just knew that the type of coaching staff that they had, I knew that I'd grow as not only a player, but also a person on and off the court. And I just knew that they cared about my well-being, and that I was very family oriented, and they said that their team themselves are very family oriented, and it was kind of just the personality that I had that they thought would fit right into their group. So it was
So
a really
now, Ella, what are you doing to prepare? What's the situation like over there in the States?
Well, as far as COVID goes, some facilities are opening up, some malls are opening up slowly but surely, and there are like a bunch of cars out in the streets now. But as far as my preparation to go into college, I am doing a bunch of strength and conditioning. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm doing weightlifting and running, as well as with my sister, and occasionally practice my skill work just out in the garage so that I don't lose it. It's tough not being able to play 5-on-5 or even 3-on-3 as we usually would every summer, but it's still very important to keep in shape and to, still try to look at the positive side of things and take to it its advantage.
Mm. Ella, for those who want to get to know you, of course, the Filipino fans are, when you say Filipinos and making it too big in the States or making it big elsewhere, they always want to know who is this player, right? So for our viewers to get to know who you are, what is your type of game? Who are your idols and motivation?
Okay, well, I guess I'll start with my idols. I am a huge Kobe fan. I think that's where I kind of get the killer mentality, or rather the Mamba mentality. So he really inspires me. I'd say Kyrie Irving too, his handles, or CP3, his handles as well, or who else? John Morant, the rookie. He inspires me as well. I think it's because he has a father who pushes him to the limits, and that just reminds me so much of me. But for the Filipino viewers or the listeners here, I just hope that they know that I'm an advocate for Philippine women's basketball, because I know that basketball is such a big thing in the Philippines, and I just wish that more female ballers knew about it, and that they can have the same experiences as me, as long as they just keep working hard. And at times I even get messages on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook with, kids asking me for motivation. And that's totally okay because I get it. Sometimes, especially during these times, COVID, where the gyms are closed, it's really hard to get motivation and to get yourself to get out of bed and to work. But I promise you guys that if you keep working, you never hear of a story where your hard work goes nowhere.
What about in the women's side? Women ballers, who are your idols?
Women's, oh man.
Like in
I
the
don't want to.
WNBA, at least?
Right. Well, I'd say Sue Bird. The first time that I watched Sue Bird, she was incredible. Just using her height and just everything that she has. She's just like the perfect basketball player. And it's like every time she shoots the ball, everyone's at the edge of their seats because it's like it's gonna go in every single time. And she played on the USA team as well, and I really look up to her for that.
All right, so give a shout out to your fans, Filipino fans, and everybody who's wishing well for you.
Yes, I want to give a shout out to everybody that's listening to this who has been supportive of me and my decision. I've gotten countless messages saying, I hope all is well and God bless and congratulations. And every single message means so much to me. And I promise you guys I won't let you down, and stay safe and God bless.
So that has been Ella Fajardo, member of the Gilas Pilipinas under-18 3x3 team, and now going to FDU or Fairleigh Dickinson University in the US NCAA. That has been Off the Record with Migs Bustos, and see you in the next episode.